The 12 days of best ball roll on. I drafted solo Monday, yesterday with Beimfor. Today, we have my buddy Davis Mattek, a man who will remind you that Marquez Callaway wears number 1. And that means he's going to be good. We're going to draft a Ball Mania II team on Underdog, and we're going to give away an Underdog hat. One of these, actually, to someone in the chat later in the show. So look for that. Let's do it.
Bro, I'm telling you, hop in these drafts when these idiot streamers are trying to draft and talk to the chat at the same time. It's so plus EV, bro.
Oh no, I think I accidentally just took Kenyon Drake and Josh Jacobs. What do we call that? A no-no.
No way, you don't have to set your lineup. That's incredible. And recently eclipsed 23%, and I'd much prefer it to be in the more 21 to 22% range.
Davis, Ball Mania 2. How many teams are you going to end up getting down in that one?
Probably in honestly only the 30 to 35 range. Cause I mean, I love BBM. You love the idea of winning $1,001 for first place, but you know my attention span, Pete. You've done this with me. You've known me for a long time. One draft at a time is not enough stimulation for my internet broken brain. I greatly prefer doing 5 puppies at a time. And if I just am going to be honest about who I am as a person, that's more stimulating for me. So I've certainly entered in over the threshold of what I expected to do in best ball season, just in $5 puppy drafts.
Yeah, I feel that. I think none of us expected there to be so many of these other ancillary tournaments where I think we just all thought we would end up coming back to Ball Mania 2. And then there were so many shiny new puppy toys along the way.
Yeah, I kind of thought what I would do was I deposited in $750 when they did the first puppy, right? And I was like, I'm going to load up. I'm going to be all in. That one filled, I think I got 40 teams in that one. I think I got 56 teams in the second one. Obviously, I'm still grinding on the puppy 3 right now. And I just told Pete, I don't even have any money left in my account because I have exceeded that. And then I just deposit when I go in, I deposit in the morning when I go to the gym, however many drafts I think I'm going to do that day, which keeps me from impulsively drafting teams when I'm doing the Swolecast or whatever, which ends up being plus EV.
Yeah, I've started doing the stairmaster drafts. I've done maybe 4 or 5 of them now, and I'm hooked. I'm finally around this weekend after traveling, and I think I'm going to try to get in 3 different stairmaster /draft /sauna sessions. It's really a nice way to spend an hour and a half.
Dude, isn't it though? So the stairmaster, it's so optimal because your body's not moving fast enough that the screen is shaking around. You're just sitting there, you're clicking, but your heart rate's 130, 140, depending on how fast you're doing. It's literally perfect.
Yeah, it's great. And I mean, talk about, distracting yourself. I'll listen to a podcast or music when I work out or run, but having to focus on a best ball draft is a next level way to distract yourself from burning, 600 calories pretty easily.
Do you not listen to podcasts while doing the drafts on the Stairmaster?
I do. Yeah. So what I have, dude, it's the ultimate. So I have my book phone, right? So I have the draft going on one. I have a Discord, feed up on the other screen, and then I'm listening to a podcast while doing the Stairmaster. It's just max stimulus all at once.
Yeah, it's amazing, dude. It's I get off after an hour on the stairs, and I mean, my body feels it, but my brain is oh, you didn't just work out for an hour, and then I have enough neural energy to go lift after, which is amazing.
Exactly. Dobie, Peter, can you schedule these during work hours? Is this not work hours? It's 3:30 p.m. Eastern.
What job do you have, Dobby?
You want me to do? What do you have, the night shift? Do you want me to? I've been doing these during work hours. This is now my work, and I am doing these during work hours. How close am I to maxing? I think I'm at 112 BBMs, give or take a few slows that are still wrapping up. I think I need to average 3 or so a day. I'm going to Vegas right before the season, so that clips about 4 days where I would be able to do drafts otherwise. So I'm ramping it up to gear. Might have crushed one out while we're doing the Swolecast, Davis, who's to say, but we got to keep grinding here.
Yeah. And I know you want to take Ridley here, and I'm going to tell you to take Barkley.
No, I want a Davis draft. The whole point of having my guests is to, get them to push me into Okay. All right. The only thing I would say is I'm going to put Barkley in the queue, but real quick, what do you think? What's your tier drop from Saquon to Taylor versus Ridley to Hopkins?
Huge tier break from Barkley to Taylor. Smaller tier break, but still a tier break for Ridley and Hopkins. Like the thing is we're also down on the Arizona offense right now. We're like, Cliff doesn't know what he's doing. They're not creative. They are not doing anything. It's like, it doesn't matter. DeAndre Hopkins is still going to get 1,200 yards and 120 receptions.
Yeah, I've still been buying this Jonathan Taylor dip. I keep waiting for it to correct. I think he's a smash at pick 17, pick 18. I mean, his ADP is 16, but he's routinely falling even a couple spots past that. We get both, Davis. We have our cake and eat it too.
Yeah, and I actually have Hopkins projected for more full PPR points than Calvin Ridley for whatever that's worth.
Do you want to go Hopkins?
No, but I have DeAndre Hopkins leading the NFL in receptions, which is I don't know how popular that is. Actually, it looks like I need to change a couple things here because I have Allen Robinson for too many receptions, but I have Hopkins for 124 receptions with the extra game.
So how much of that, because my thought is it would be very hard for him to have a bigger market share than he did last year with Rondale Moore in the fold, kind of soaking up some of the horizontal raid targets. On the other hand, this offense could just be so good and he's the alpha there that it just works out.
Yeah, he's the alpha. And remember, not only did there's this very popular narrative that, well, Kyler got hurt, so he stopped running, but Hopkins also got hurt. Hopkins was a legit game time decision like 3 weeks in a row. People the ins and outs, those small parts of the season just completely escape our memory. But he was playing banged up last year too. The Cardinals ran the 4th most plays in the NFL last season. While I think they scored, they were below league average or they were right at league average in terms of points scored. And I'm going to go to my deathbed saying like, well, maybe Cliff will figure it out this next year. But he's got Kyler Murray, he's got DeAndre Hopkins, he's got Rondale Moore, he's got Christian Kirk. I mean, even if you want to say AJ Green is dust or whatever, he probably is, but he's probably better than Keyshawn Johnson and Damiere Byrd. Like, I don't know. I feel like we've kind of all just collectively taken this sigh and just assume that the Cardinals are going to be what they've been these last 2 years. But I feel very strongly actually that they can be better.
Yeah, that makes sense. I do think it is like, it's so funny though, because we joke about the horizontal raid and then they literally draft the perfect player to continue doing horizontal stuff. And it's just like, with Hopkins and Rondale Moore being the focal points, I mean, these guys are looking at like an average depth of target of 5 yards at best all season, and it still might be fine if they run a shit ton of plays.
Yeah, I mean, literally exactly. And if if Cliff chooses to be a little bit more aggressive on 4th downs, like, and I think you could even honestly, like, non-disingenuously argue that Hopkins kind of ran bad with touchdowns last season to have 160 targets, 1,400 receiving yards, and only score 6 touchdowns. That, this would be a great JJ Zacharyson talking point, but like, he's running bad on the targets, he's running bad on the yards. Like, you'd expect for a guy of that volume, you'd expect like 11 or 12 touchdowns. Now, granted, a lot of his targets are coming on the Cardinals' own 40-yard line, and he's being targeted 3 yards past the line of scrimmage. But I mean, the point remains.
You took Christian Kirk in the second to last round of your FFPC main event. I still click Kirk's button a lot on Underdog. Are we keeping a candle on?
Well, yeah, and on Underdog, it's so perfect too because wide receiver is pretty dead by that range. And if you have a Dak stack going, so you have Cooper, you have Dak, you have Gallup, you slot Kirk in there as your Arizona exposure for Week 17. It's money.
Yeah. Wow. So I've swung back and forth on DeAndre Swift. I put a quote in the Fantasy Life newsletter today from Dan Campbell, and it does not sound good. He sounds legit worried about DeAndre Swift. He has like no confidence that he's fully up with his conditioning, that he's in a spot where he can absorb hits. Where are you at on Swift right now? The one hole is going hyper fragile here.
Well, it remains to be seen how hyper fragile that build is. I I mean, for a long time, I couldn't take DeAndre Swift because I was taking another guy whose bags are leaking holes, but I was just taking Darrell Henderson over him straight up. But I still don't feel that comfortable taking Swift. I especially don't feel comfortable taking Swift.
Oh, sorry, we're on the clock. We started, or in a second we are.
Lockett, right?
Yeah, I've been splitting Lockett or Cup because I like both pretty similarly. Give me I know it's so close, but give me the Lockett over Cup take.
He'll have like his volatility is better in this format. He has like more like 37 point spike weeks in him by my estimation.
One thing I like about Lockett too is the two quarterbacks that slip a ton are Russ and Herbert. And so when you can set up those stacks, you can often get Wilson a round and a half past ADP.
Yep. Totally agree.
So this is Best Ball Mania 2. So Henderson is not going to be in the cards for us, although I still think he's an interesting conversation just in
What
general.
if he's there in like round 7?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've seen him now already in round 6 and some too. So yeah, I mean, you're getting closer, right? Where most people have their shares at round 11 and you're getting him, say, maybe mid to late 7. That gap is getting pretty good there.
And we have so much of an informational advantage. This would be, I actually, this is so weird, but I would take Godwin here. Like, it feels like I wouldn't have taken Godwin at the 311, but now that it's closer.
So the only thing I'll say is it's really hard to get Cup and Lockett together normally.
Yeah, that's fine. And I actually love Stafford too. Like, Stafford is, for a while, was one of my most owned quarterbacks before I just started taking Tua in every draft.
Yeah. The chat also, I think you can totally make a case for DJ Moore. My thing again is just knowing of these drafts, and I've done a million of these where, or 100, where I have gotten Godwin or DJ Moore once that wide receiver tier dries up. And it's, like I said, it's pretty hard to get both Lockett and Cup. So I'm pretty good with that.
This is probably a fairly anomalous start, I would actually guess, through, whatever, 900 million. BBM2s. I would imagine this particular grouping of players is harder to get like combinatorically.
Yeah. Let's see this. Haven't done a draft since ETN news, but I'm surprised to see James Robinson go that quickly. Where did he go? I missed it. We were talking.
He went 3-4. Wow.
That's completely jumped the shark. I mean, what do we know? Like
I was surprised by this, but everyone I talk about fantasy football with, I was like, someone explain this James Robinson thing to me. And it's really as simple as he won people money last year. And when you have that gravitational pull, it's just so easy to take somebody.
Yeah. That's just so rich. I mean, like we were talking, I was doing the Good Football Show yesterday with Leone and Pat, and I was having them rank, Myles Gaskin, Mike Davis, and James Robinson, which I actually think is like the right cohort of players to debate, where he should fall in. But when we're talking about him, I mean, neither of us like David Montgomery, but I mean, give me David Montgomery over James Robinson every single day of the week.
I actually think I'd take James Robinson there, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close.
No, I mean, David Montgomery,
I'm just such a Damian Williams bull that it's hard for me to like be zooming back out and becoming a David Montgomery drafter. I got Miles Sanders yesterday in the 6th round of a draft. Like the shark might have been jumped on that.
Yeah, I have no problem grabbing Sanders late 5th, early 6th, where you can get him. To me, it's just my thing is always what really has changed from last year for Miles Sanders, other than we've seen another year where they won't give him the full bell cow reins. Like I get that, but otherwise nothing's that different from when he was going at the 1-2 turn last year.
Yeah, no, you're right. What's changed is we like just got super bearish on the Eagles as a whole. And as our buddy Patrick Crane has pointed out, every preseason team, people are super positive about their teams, but no one feels positive about the Eagles.
Right. Yeah. And he's also good too, because I like Backdoor stacking him with Hurts. You can now get Quez Watkins. Sometimes the room's sleeping on him. And now I have capitulated, Davis. You and Corain have gotten me to start taking some cheap shares of Zach Ertz. I've given in.
Ertz Gerald, you're in? I mean, I was kind of already in on him, but when Pat made that comparison about 36-year-old Larry Fitzgerald being tight end eligible, we'd be taking him in the 5th round. I've never agreed with a spoken point on a podcast more than that. He's so right.
Yeah. Corey, have these drafts ever started to feel like deja vu? 100%. There's so many times where I'm like, I could swear I've done this start, or I wish there was just a way to easily pull up similar teams, and then you can break ties of like, oh, I did take Cup in this one, a very similar start. Let me take, Godwin here instead. I get that deja vu all the time.
Yeah, it's basically just paint by numbers. Like the only thing that like makes it different is when someone falls. Like, oh, I get to take Kyle Pitts in this draft because he's there in the 5th round. Oh, Myles Gaskin is here in the 8th round. Okay, like those are the only things that make it feel any different. But when the drafts stick to ADP, it's all the same.
Yes. Okay. We do get the Henderson slide as expected. I think we can still pass on him at these two.
Boyd, right?
Yeah. So the only other thing sometimes that what I do here is if I feel like they're really squeezing me on wide receivers, I might try to set up like a Lamar Andrews double stack.
He just went.
Andrews goes. Yeah. The only other thing would be if you want to, but yeah, 67.
I'm good with Lamar Boyd. I like taking Marquise too.
I think there's a decent chance that Boyd
gets back.
So do you want to just get Lamar here?
Let's do it. And we can even eat some of that sweet Bateman October EV.
Yeah. Where are you comfortable I haven't taken him post injury yet. And maybe that's a leak. Where have you been grabbing him?
I only take him when I take Lamar. So like, he's like not like when I don't take Lamar round 5 or round 6, he's completely undraftable to me. But yeah, I mean, if he's in like the 160s or whatever, and I'm looking at AJ Green or Rashad Bateman, I would just take Bateman in that specific scenario. But I only want him for those week 17. Bateman has 2 touchdowns and 80 yards from Lamar scenarios.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Boyd, this is actually a pretty gross spot in a draft, having to reach, but I completely agree. Boyd is the pick there. Boyd might end up being my highest owned guy. He's like going to be neck and neck with Rondale Moore and KJ Hamler as my most owned right now.
Yeah. Well, I gotta do more drafts because right now Darrell Henderson is my most I actually think McCole Hardman just eclipsed him yesterday as my most owned player. So funny though, we were just talking about, do these drafts ever feel repetitive? When I take Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill in the 1st round, my draft unfolds the exact same way every single time without fail. So you take Kelce, you take Tyreek, you take Jonathan Taylor or Antonio Gibson in the 2nd round, you take one of Woods, Kupp, or Lockett in the 3rd round, you take Mahomes in the 4th round, another wide receiver, Hardman, then you take Tony Pollard, James Conner, Gus Edwards, doesn't matter, fill it in. You fill out your backup quarterback, doesn't matter. You take Byron Pringle. Like, it's just like the Chiefs start drafts, like literally to me, I'm like, I could probably do this without even seeing the other picks that other people are making.
Well, it's like lock buttoning a few guys during a 150 set where you're like, I'm going to have these guys and I'm going to just get all the different combinations around them in the mid to late rounds.
Yeah. Like I think every Chief stack I've done with a Chief in the 1st, I think I've gotten Mahomes every time. I don't remember being sniped. I've gotten Pringle on all of those, and I take Darrell on all of those too.
Yeah. I'm putting the link for the Google form to win a hat in the chat right now. You guys can fill that out. This is for people watching live only. We'll do the drawing at the end. It's the only way to get these hats. They aren't for sale. Underdog is giving them away. I will send the winner a gift card to the store to purchase one of these slick Underdog hats. I can get you a hat, Davis. You want an Underdog hat?
Yes, I do. I think that Underdog and SportsGrid are working on a marketing deal, so maybe they'll give me some swag anyway. But I would love the hat.
Yeah, these are exclusive to my store. The Underdog came out with their hats. They had the dad hats, which I also like as well. These are more the kind of quintessential snapback hats, but we got the Club Top Shot colorway with them, which is snazzy. Let's see here. The chat is tilting slow drafts. I love slow drafts. It was hard. Why do
people like them? What is the?
Why don't you just ask me why I like them?
Like, it's just, I don't know. I need to be like locked in. Like this goes back to my whole, like, I don't want to be thinking about fantasy football at 9:30 p.m. I want to be tuned out. I don't want to be thinking at all. I want to be completely divorced from my job.
My thing is with everything in life, it's like, if it's not, I mean, I like both. I like all drafting. I love the slow drafts. I love waking up. I love reviewing the team, seeing if the guys in my queue made it back, making sure my correlations are set, reverse engineering the construction I want. I love thinking. They're little thought puzzles that I get every morning on the clock, and I very much enjoy it. So if someone enjoys a fucking slow draft, who cares, guys? You guys get so tilted about, don't do slow drafts. Let us betas lap them up. We love them. But they're gone now.
That guy just got very good EV on Darrell Henderson. Darrell Henderson at 74, like, he is going to pay that off.
He although he reached on Sanders.
Do not like his team. I think his team's bad, but he did just get a good value on Henderson there.
What Underdog should do is they should reward the true volume slow drafters and still give us some like 2-hour clock slow drafts. You know, that we know they'll finish, but you know, toss a little bone to the high volume slow drafters out there. Yeah, I mean, come on. You mixed in some slow drafts. I know you did.
No, I didn't mean to though. I did like 12 puppy slow drafts because it's so funny. I went down to my office when the puppy was 99% full. I put on my headphones and I put on a jazz album, and I was like, I'm going to listen to jazz and do 12 fast drafts at a time. And they were all slows. And I'm just sitting there looking like, no, like, what did I do? I'm in 12 slow drafts when I thought I was just going to have the like dopamine rush of a lifetime.
I thought you were going to start to do an analogy about how fantasy football drafting is like jazz, man. You just got to be able to improvise.
No, it's not. It's not at all like jazz. It's actually much more like, I don't know. We're in a really gross spot. This is a classic ship chasers draft. Like we're here in the 7th round and wide receiver has been dusted off.
Yeah, I forgot to even check the names. Do we have a friends and family draft? I guess I recognize some. So we're going to be on the clock.
We can just take Juju though.
I was going to say Juju's is nice here. We can also take Hardman. Yeah, I don't hate this spot.
I love Hardman, but I do prefer Juju, obviously. Man, what a bummer Travis Etienne has been to what he's done to ADP, because that's just another like, when Etienne is out of the dead zone, that means you have to take a running or a wide receiver there. Like we could at least wish cast on Etienne.
Yeah, it does. I mean, with the Henderson bump and the dynamics of, you know, a bunch of teams in Best Ball Mania so Schuster goes, you want to get Hardman?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that range, those wide receivers are now getting pushed up. Like, you used to be able to reliably get Judy in the late 5th. Now there's steam on him. There's no ETN pushing, you know, one of Claypool or him down. I mean, you end up in the situations that we did where you're having to reach 5 picks ahead to get Boyd.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is gross.
What do you see here?
I would probably take AJ Dillon here.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not going to make it back.
AJ or Rondale.
Yeah, I think we can wait on Rondale.
Wait. We might need to take Marquise Brown, right?
He's been falling too.
All right, yeah. I mean, I'm good with either one.
Yeah, Marquise Brown is he'll be there at our next pick, especially because he hasn't been practicing.
We need to start Sammy Watkins as well.
Yeah, that's a good call, because he normally gets snabbed before he is available. Let me give real quick. Someone was asking for a recap of here. Josh wants a recap here. Got here late. Halfway review. We started with Saquon. We've been pissing it yellow since. Calvin Ridley, Lockett, Cup. We did grab Lamar Jackson in a dead zone. Came back with Boyd, Hardman, AJ Dillon. We're reaching slightly ahead of ADP to get our guys. But I mean, what is drafting if not going and getting your guys, Davis?
I mean, that's what it's all about, right? You just gotta get your guys. Also, is it still pissing yellow when they're orange on Underdog?
Yeah, you know what? I was making some kind of liberties there, kind of tying the yellow and orange, but pissing orange just doesn't have the same ring to it.
So I've got another main event tonight, but Silva's bailing on us, dude. He's just leaving me and Thorma and Reeves to it.
That's unfortunate. I mean, he can't make it.
He said he's hosting an event. I don't even know what that means.
Oh, I did see him do it. It's like the
AJ Dillon, I think.
Yeah. KZ, do you always avoid Jarvis Landry? No, I have a lot of Jarvis Landry. I think it's just small sample size. I stream one draft a week, and I'm probably in 10 or 15 other drafts during that time span. But yes, just small sample size of not taking Jarvis Landry on streams. And he's also a guy that the room generally doesn't love. So I like getting him like 5-6 picks after ADP.
Yeah.
He is, sometimes it's interesting with, it's just so much easier mentally to be like, oh, I draft Diggs and then I will try to get Josh Allen or whatever. The backdoor stacks when the QBs go late, you sometimes forget about them. So I will give you that, but I don't know. I like Landry a lot, especially in more hyper fragile builds. If you're starting with 6 or 7 straight wide receivers or something along those lines,
Landry is not it for those teams.
No, but if you do the hyper fragile, the 3, and you're getting him in round 8 or 9 as your like wide receiver 3 or 4, I think that's where you want him.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Donovan Peoples-Jones is going to score more PPR points than him, though.
The people want to know when your draft is, and are you guys live streaming it or just recording and then posting after the fact?
Just recording and then posting. Ours is at 7 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Central tonight.
Okay, there you go.
Are you guys drafting tonight too?
Yep. We over at Ship Chasing, we're kicking off. We have 5 main event drafts over the next 5 evenings. One tonight at 10, a double header, or one tomorrow night with Crack Rock at 10, a double header Friday 7 and 10, and a Sunday matinee at 1. So, I mean, between this, all the best ball drafts, it's Davis. We're just nonstop drafting.
We're nonstop drafting. I didn't get the second Naomi Osaka drop. I'm tilting.
Does the way the drops stagger, do they just go up in price?
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't get the notification to go after the second one. So I will have to try. All right. I am going to drop the link to fill out the form. 58 of you have filled it out. Last call to enter to win an Underdog hat. The form is in the chat. We will do that toward the end of this draft. So Davis, we haven't taken a tight end yet. We are good at quarterback. We have our anchor running back with our preferred target in Dylan and a pretty nice wide receiver core. What are you thinking about as we head to the 9-10 turn?
I want Marquise Brown for this team, though I love Fant too. I mean, to be honest.
Yeah. How do you rank that? I mean, they're gone, but the guys that are always there is Higbee, Logan Thomas, and Fant are always kind of in a cluster.
So for a while I had Higbee more. Like I was just taking Higbee like a ton, but I just want to like bet on a really good football players, and Fant is the best. I mean, if Fant played for the Chiefs or whatever, like he would be amazing. So I want to have a lot of Fant.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like those guys a lot. I've been drafting. I've gotten more hype on Logan Thomas, so I've been doing Thomas, Higbee, and then Fant. But normally, just because I'm playing the ADP, and Fant is a guy that you can get at like pick 115 sometimes because he seems to be the less preferred of the 3.
Yeah, Logan Thomas is not it for me. I'm pretty sure he's Gary Barnidge.
So Fant goes. So we can get Brown here, although now we're now probably missing out on a tight end tier unless you've come around on Dallas Goedert.
No. I think we could even do 3 tight end on this build because we've been so aggressive with wide receiver that we probably don't need 9.
Yeah, I agree with that. This pick, I think, we have like Rojo and Moss look decent, or you can get another luxury wide receiver pick in Elijah Moore or Ruggs. What do you think?
I feel like Rojo or Pollard is who I would take for sure.
Yeah, there's he won't make it back to us, but I would probably prefer Rojo here. What do you think?
Rojo's probably a little bit better for this build because we already have our premium contingent value guy.
Yeah.
I was also just wondering why, like, I was looking at your list and I was like, his list looks different than mine is because you're using preloaded ranks.
Yes.
I was
correct.
like, that was like tripping me out. I was like, what is going on here?
I actually have been meaning to just go back. I mean, I'm basically drafting off of ADP anyways. I'm not saying I'm drafting in line with ADP, but I'm using that as my primary guide. So I don't even know why I put in preloaded ranks, but it is nice to sometimes remember. But I also feel like you mentioned the Sammy Watkins thing, when you have Sammy Watkins lower in your ranks, if you're not actively putting him in your queue, you're gonna miss him. And there's some guys like Robert Tonyan is a guy I never get because he's just not high enough in my ranks relative to where he goes in ADP, and I never get him.
Yeah. So I was having that problem. I had uploaded my own ranks and I was like, this is going to end up being a disaster at the end of the year. I'm going to end up with 50% exposure to guys because I'm just going to be doing 6 drafts at a time and I'm not going to scroll and remember. Like, I'm not going to remember like, oh, you need to be mixing in some Gus Edwards. Like, I just would never have him. Or like, if you're sitting there and Latavius Murray is the top guy on your board for 3 rounds, you're just going to end up taking him more than you want to be taking him. And I would rather, because I am doing so many drafts, I've done like 200 drafts or whatever. Like I want to have a good mix of players. Like I don't really want to be taking 25% stances on that many guys in the player pool.
Kurt, I think you're trolling, but just in case you're not, I don't like that.
We are not feeling it.
We're not
how we
feeling
feel.
that. I think I'm going to have very little James Robinson. I think you can Robinson. I had a lisp there. I think you can start having the conversation in the mid to late 5th round is where I would say you could have the conversation. I'm not taking him until more the kind of Myles Gaskin, Mike Davis tier. And I don't draft those guys unless they slip to pick 80. So he's going to be a guy I don't draft, but Davis, would you be more aggressive on that?
No, I don't. I was just telling you earlier, I want Carlos Hyde. I want to take Carlos Hyde in the 18th round much more than I want to take James Robinson at cost.
Yeah. I mean, who do you think is going to catch passes in that offense? I mean, that's the question, right?
I mean, it's probably James Robinson, but what if he's playing like 65% of the snaps and losing some goal line work, but getting 3rd downs? It's like, I don't know. I just don't. The thing that made James Robinson so amazing was that he was literally playing like 85% of the snaps for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. It's this weird. I mean, I was doing the thought experiment yesterday with Leone and Karain, and you had mentioned the thing about Henderson. Like if Akers just wasn't involved and Henderson was coming into this year as the lead back, where would he have gone? You know, he would have been going in the like 2nd or 3rd round. Same thing. If they had never drafted ETN, I mean, Robinson would be going in the 2nd or 3rd round. So, I mean,
and I'd be fading him hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I would too. I think his situation has gotten better, but not as much as his ADP jump will indicate.
Yeah. I mean, so funny. Like I happened to be on the clock in 2 slow drafts last night when ETN got placed on IR, like in like the 10th round, and James Robinson was there. So I was like, well, there we go. I got whatever James Robinson exposure I'm going to get. I just got it.
Yeah. Yeah. My James Robinson exposure was very paltry. I think I had 2 shares, which was very low for me. I was at 8% ETN, which I can survive.
Oh yeah. Must be nice, dude.
What were you at ETN?
Dude, I had a banger tweet yesterday. You didn't see?
I missed it. I'm sorry.
I had the my fall plans Delta variant with 18% ETN and 1% James Robinson.
Oh, I did see that. My bad. I forgot.
So brutal, dude.
18. So were you just kind of auto clicking him if he was there in the mid 5th, basically?
No, in the 6th, but he would just be there. He would be there at the 6-2 all the time.
Yeah. For some reason, I wasn't ever getting him in the 6th, and I wasn't getting him that much. And then Sean was hyping him up, and I was like, damn, I need to start grabbing him some in the 5th. It was just so hard because I felt like I was always having to pass on a Judy or Claypool to grab him, and that was always a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah. Pollard just went.
Yeah, I was going to say there was a small chance he was going to make it back. Is Burrow Lamar is probably a bad use of draft capital. But
no, I think we take what would the tight end by ADP here be?
Let's see. Do we have?
I prefer Everett to Ingram, but I think either one is a good use of this pick here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put him in, but it does feel early for these guys.
I'm good with Singletary too. If you we got owned. We owned ourselves.
Yeah, it's all right. We can probably actually still get Singletary because this guy took 5 running backs already, but you never know. This is a pretty gross spot in the draft.
This is where it starts to be like, literally, I don't have any different, like, to me, Sterling Shepard is no different than Donovan Peoples-Jones, who's like the wide receiver 99 or whatever.
Yeah. The other thing that stinks for how we played this is, we grabbed Lamar Jackson, but we have both Burrow and Stafford sitting here well after ADP. We could have double tapped them at the 11-12 turn. The problem was we just didn't like anyone on the clock when we took Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. That's all, like, that's what you say every time in every draft I've ever done where I've taken a premium quarterback. I've looked at everyone's quarterback values later and been like, shit, they got Matthew Stafford at 11-9. Like, what did I made a terrible decision. But Lamar is actually, like, I am looking to get a lot of exposure to him because people, like, again, our memories are so short. He broke fantasy football in 2019. He broke, it was unreal how much value he was providing on a weekly basis over other quarterbacks. He was outscoring other quarterbacks by like 10 points every single week.
Yeah. And we ran a little bad. There was maybe a chance Gus Edwards would have fell to us. He would have been a really nice pairing with Lamar. We missed out on Andrews there. We did get Marquise Brown, though, so we have that going. And I guess we can be on Bateman and Watkins watch as well.
Yeah. Bateman, we can probably wait until 14 at the earliest, I think. Like 13, I think we could do another tight end. What's our stacking our backdoor stack situation looking like?
Backdoor stacks not looking good because we have so many premium. So we have to set one up.
Backdoor would be like Ingram, Daniel Jones, Baker Mayfield, Austin Hooper, Zach Wilson, Jamison Crowder.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. There's a few of those that are tried and true that we can definitely lock down. And with Lamar, we can really push it with that QB2 anyway.
Yeah. We can draft Mac Jones at quarterback too, if we want.
Yeah.
Or Teddy. Now that Teddy's locked in.
That's
right?
true. Yeah. The Hamler Teddy backdoor is pretty nice.
Yeah. Man. Hamler really got expensive after like 2 preseason touchdowns, though. Like, people are like, he just is like, 13th round, it's time to get KJ Hamler off the board.
Yeah, exactly. I still feel like relative to the guys he's going around, I still don't find, like, I get sticker shock when I look at Marquez Callaway. I know you're not. I get it, but with Hamler, I don't get sticker shock.
What about with MVS? Have you been following this MVS stuff?
You mean just that he's ripping up camp?
Yeah, the MVS bags are getting pumped. They, by the way, the reason why I believe it is the Packers tend to tell the truth about that stuff because they talk shit about their wide receivers all the time. Like you'll just hear like, Reggie Bagleton, loser, cut. Alan Lazard, no good. Rodgers likes Lazard, but the coaches hate him. They tell you that stuff about the wide receivers.
Yeah, and it's also what I've noticed too is it's not just been like one beat report. Like with the Bills, it's the Joe Biscuglia guy just hyping up Emmanuel Sanders every week, and I'm like, all right, we get it. You like him? It's been different beat reporters for MVS. Like, they all say he's crushing.
Yeah. So I am pretty on board with him. Obviously Pringle, Peoples Jones is the ones where I'm like, dude, that guy could win you some leagues because you just don't have to squint that hard to see Odell and Landry cratering at the same time and Peoples-Jones just eating up a bunch of targets.
Yeah. The other kind of benefit too that when we're kind of setting up, if we're pushing all in on the Ravens, one of the reasons I like the slow drafts because I can really look at the schedule. But you mentioned MVS, the Ravens play the Packers in week 15. So I always like getting that little extra correlation in there when we can as well. Let's go ahead and check on some of these. Is Watkins still here?
Yeah.
So Watkins is there. Bateman. Is Bateman here? Bateman's here.
Oh, Bateman hangs around.
Yeah, so we don't have to do this. I'm just putting him in the queue so we don't forget. And if people want to take an unstacked hurt Ravens rookie wide receiver, then they can do that.
Yeah.
Liam, my chess coach, give me 2 reasons the Bills wide receivers shouldn't be drafted around the Bengals Cowboys. Which Bills wide receivers are we talking about? Not these wide receivers aren't all created equally. Who are you comparing? Are you comparing like Emmanuel Sanders to Tyler Boyd?
He basically is just saying that Gabe Davis is Michael Gallup.
Oh, I mean, I like Gabe Davis. The whole thing is like, you don't have to draft him there. You can draft him at pick 130 every single draft. I am not as heavy. I have a lot of Gabe Davis, Liam, but I will never have as much Gabe Davis as you do. Don't you have like 60%?
Well, and the thing was talking with Gabe the other day, and the thing I didn't have the heart to tell him is that Josh Allen has some regression in him, and also he scores a lot of rushing touchdowns, which is not true of the Bengals or Cowboys wide receivers.
So the only other thing here that is interesting to me, I like Kmet a lot, and he also could get us out of a 3 tight end build because I think you could rock Gerald and Kmet.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Cole Kmet is one of my highest owned tight ends. I was going to say Evan Ingram at our last pick, or at this pick, but he just went.
Yeah. And then the other thing will be, we're still kind of in weird territory for setting up a backdoor stack, but we can still probably do that even later if we want to grab. Who do you want to grab of Bateman or Watkins here? Because I'm guessing
Watkins. Right?
So I guess the only thing is on ADP. Yeah, he's probably, they're probably not.
If you were to do like a 1 week ADP, Bateman's would be way lower.
Yeah. I'm good with Watkins here. This is sometimes like when you get in these specific builds with specific stacks and you're picking at the turn, you're just forced into reaching on all of these guys because you're not.
But reaching in round 14 is not the same as reaching in round 8. Like I bet if I looked at my projected points differences between Christian Kirk and Traquan Smith, who are 30 spots ahead by ADP, I bet I have them like a point a game or whatever.
Yeah. Let's see. Who's our most owned rookie QBs? Mine's Lance. I think I have Fields behind him. I'm pretty sure you're Lance, right?
Yeah. I'm Lance 17%, Fields 14%, Wilson 13%, Trevor Lawrence 12%. So four of the rookies are my 5 most owned quarterbacks, with Tua being number 2.
I'm not sure if I understand this question, Doom. Everett and Kmet only strong enough against the elite tight end, late round tight end teams. I mean, I obviously it's not as good as a team that took Mark Andrews and Noah Fant or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I still think, again, the whole thing with tight end is outside of, those top 3. And maybe
the worst teams are going to be the tight ends who bust in round 8 teams. Like those are the teams that structurally are the worst.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna lose at tight end, I would rather lose for a round 11 and a round 14 pick than lose for a round 8 and round 9 pick. Basically, is kind of my thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just don't mind, and I don't like using 3 spots on tight end. I would rather grab the Kmet and save the roster spot and just draft like we're right. Like I don't know, Everett and Kmet are my 2 favorite late round tight ends, and if you can just bank one nice breakout on one of them, I think you're sitting pretty. So I don't know, just draft like you're right and hope one of these guys becomes a top 8 tight end.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I'm more open to taking 3 tight ends, especially when wide receiver is like truly done. Like when you're looking at like DeMarcus Robinson, I'd probably rather have Donald Parham given the positional stuff than like Colin Johnson on a non-Trevor Lawrence team.
Yeah.
You know,
my whole thing is like, think about, the tier, when you draft Travis Kelce, it's like I don't know, I'm just making up numbers, but let's say it's like an 80% chance he hits. And then you draft Mark Andrews, it's like a 60% chance. Noah Fant is like a 40. And we're down to Gerald Everett, it's like a 20% chance. And Kmet's like a 15% chance of being like a top 5 guy or whatever. So the probabilities are definitely getting thinner, but we're using our bullets in the chamber on other positions. And so if we hit the low end probability breakout of those guys, our team is supercharged because we invested higher capital at other positions with better probability bets. So I don't know. I don't really, I guess I just don't think of it through that lens, other than when I draft these guys, I think they're going to smash and then I'm going to build the rest of the team around it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you for sure.
We did lose out on Bateman and MBS there. Yeah. So
just like we lost out on Naomi Osaka.
We could, yeah. We could do I'm trying to think of the kind of the stacks we could do. Is Diami still here for a Fitzpatrick and Diami? Yeah, that could work. I
like that. Crowder Wilson
could definitely work.
Baker DPJ.
Baker DPJ. You got Slayton, Daniel Jones. So we have some decent options here.
Yeah. I probably like Diami Fitz is good. I like that. I don't have very much exposure to that at all.
Yeah. Doom, just following up on that. All of my early teams were like that too. I was drafting Kelsey, Kittle, or Waller anytime I could, and then doing one super late. And then I was just like, all right, if the season doesn't go this way or those guys don't hit, I don't want my entire portfolio to be dead. So I like mixing up the different tight end ranges there. Baker is not here. He's gone now.
Yeah. So
Crowder and Wilson go. Yeah. And then I believe, we go Fitz first and then get Diami coming back.
Yeah, we're gonna get so lucky if we don't get sniped here.
Pat Freiermuth, my goodness, 3 tight end build
with Pratt Fire Helamuth.
Wow,
you love to see it.
That'll work out. This is the one nice thing about being on the turn is you can set up these backdoor stacks with more
so easily. Yeah,
with more confidence. I've definitely had a decent amount of backdoor Fitzpatrick stacks where I miss out on McKissick and Diami, and then I'm resigned to taking fucking Adam Humphries. And just trying to make Josh Norris happy. Oh yeah, it's so gross. So we are at 2482 here with 2 picks. We are done at quarterback and tight end. Probably one more running back, one more wide receiver.
Yeah, super sneaky. So we can take, I don't know, Darrell or McKinnon probably, or Hyde. And then we can take Tutu Atwell or Van Jefferson for the Rams bring back in week 17.
Yeah. How have you been feeling about because I'm always kind of just shrug my shoulders when I have to choose between Djax, Van Jefferson, and Tutu. What are you doing with those guys?
Djax is the best, because you feel confident in the 4 games he plays. You're getting at least 1 spike week. I think Van Jefferson is only like an injury replacement for Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods. Like, I don't think he's going to play that much as like a slot wide receiver. So he's kind of like a wide receiver handcuff. And then Tutu is just like, who knows? Like, literally, who knows what the range of outcomes for that guy is? Like, I don't know.
He's such a tough. I mean, in my head, I've just been the simplified way I've been thinking about it is like Djax will probably be good the first half of the season and Tutu could be good the second half of the season. That's like the only way I've been thinking about it, but I don't know if that's right or even the right way to go about it.
Yeah. I think that is likely the correct way. I mean, I don't know. I just have like, I guess Djax is the one that I like taking, but he also has gotten like a little bit of steam. Like sometimes he goes like, here in like the 16th round or whatever.
Well, here's one more option that's new to us. If we are playing the bring back, you want a little Sony Michel as the 5th running back. If we don't want to do wide receiver.
He hasn't gone yet.
I don't think so.
I bet he has to be gone. If Xavier Jones went, Sony's gone.
Oh, you're right. I completely missed it.
Yeah.
Shim my cop.
I saw people are getting out of line. People are getting out of line with Sony Michel. I saw him go in the 5th round of a puppy draft earlier.
No, are you kidding?
I'm being 100% real with you.
There's this thing, you know what? There needs to be a word for this phenomenon where it's the same people who sit on the clock and then try to use the information at their advantage and think like they found this cheat code or like a bug in the system that they're taking advantage of, but then they're actually just wildly overdrafting the player. That's what's going on with Sony Michel. Like, you take him in the 5th.
Like, it's just too much. Like, I think probably the right thing is Henderson falls back to the Javonte range, and then Sony Michel fits in with Gus Edwards and James Conner and Latavius Murray, or I guess not Latavius Murray now that Tojo is here. But like, yeah, he's just in that range of, if he scores a touchdown, it's a good week. If he doesn't score a touchdown, it's a bad week.
These guys who make these usernames, they need to live with the consequences of how they look when you read them. It's like I did the show with Bill Barnwell, and his handle is No Odd Job, but you read it like nude job or whatever. You guys need to think this through here. I'm now looking at it. I believe it's supposed to be Shimmy Cocoa Pop, but I don't know, man.
He made his choice, and he needs to live with it.
Trust me, my name on FanDuel's FF_Pete. Like, I get it. I sympathize.
No wonder the guy doesn't grind on FanDuel.
I was actually hanging out with my old FF Comedy Hour buddies the other night, and I was telling them about that phenomenon and how it's still haunting me to this day. That marketing play didn't age well.
No, it didn't. That's why I had the foresight very early on in DFS to just make my username my name for everything that I did.
I finally got hip to that, as evidenced by my name on Underdog being my full name. I'm surprised I didn't just toss in my middle name while I was at it. Just a long form birth certificate as your username. That's the real way to do branding.
Yeah, address, PIN number.
Okay, so we are coming up here in a second. DPJ looks pretty nice here.
Yeah, smash that button.
Yeah, I mean, we don't get any like stacks or game stack stuff, but he seems nice.
Yeah, who cares, dude? That guy is like the wide receiver 32.
All right, we get DPJ. It's so weird to me, like the guys that, like DPJ and Quez Watkins have had similar preseasons, similar camps, and like Quez has really shot up boards, but DPJ hasn't. And I guess you can make the case that Quez is going to have a better role, but still it's interesting who gets steamed. All right, Davis, final pick here, running back. Should we do one of your Chiefs guys?
I think they're both gone.
Oh, they are. You got 15 seconds.
No, McKinnon's right there. So
have you come around on McKinnon since
I just need to level my exposures out. That's all it is. I just need to. I can't be walking around with 5x as much Daryl. Yeah. Though literally every report from Chiefs camp, like they don't even bother talking about who the second stringer is because they all know it's Daryl.
Yeah, but don't you think if CH were to miss time, Daryl would get all of the early down work and McKinnon would get a decent amount of the pass work?
If McKinnon is actually healthy, he's so much better than Daryl, but we just have no way of knowing how dead those legs are.
Yeah. And I would say in this build too, like again, Daryl's probably better for a 0 RB build where you're needing to just bake in some touches. Yes. Where in this one where we have a nice anchor and some other upside guys, I mean, let it rip with McKinnon and just hope that he's turned the clock all the way back.
Yeah, I think we got lucky with this guy took 8 running backs. Poor El Frankie 93.
Let me see this team.
He does not want to get sauced.
Let me see this here. El Frank. Oh my God. This is.
You knew that a guy who took 8 running backs was definitely taking Najee.
You also knew he was definitely taking Marquez Callaway. Dude, he wears number 1.
Hey, dude, if he goes at pick 126, he is a value. 126 for well, But this is BBM, so people are not he went in the 18th round for so long. People are not wanting to take him.
Yeah, I don't know if I can sign off on this construction. The old 3-8-5-2.
Did he handcuff anybody? He took Xavier Jones, who's like total dust now.
That's a wild draft. A very wild draft.
That is a wild team.
All right, we are going to spin the wheel here real quickly for the hat. Good luck to all of you. Thank you for hanging out. We will be back tomorrow with Pat Kerrane. We're going to be here at 10 a.m. Hopefully that qualifies as work hours for some of you. I know you love it when they're in work hours. I am shuffling. We'll give away another hat tomorrow. Also doing the randomizer draft with Evan Silva tomorrow, though we might be having a scheduling snafu as well. I need to figure that out after this. Who wins? Nick Calhoun. Congratulations, Nick. I'll send you an email with the details to get and redeem your hat. Davis, what's going on over at Sports Grid? Have you finished your master plan article with all the color coding and jazz?
So the sheet is finished. The article is not finished. The article probably needs to be wrapped up tomorrow at some point. Yeah, thanks for reminding me that I have to get some writing done. And then over on the TakeCast, we have some cool stuff coming, doing that draft with Reeves and Thorman. Really cool podcast. If you guys haven't listened to it yet, this dude who worked for the Eagles when they literally won a Super Bowl was like super forthcoming and like talking about his relationship with Doug Peterson, talking about how Jalen Hurts looked at camp. We actually talked about like the decision to bench Wentz for Hurts and like what that was like inside the building. So it's pretty like wild stuff.
That's awesome. Excited to check that out. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you if you want to watch main event draft over on Ship Chasing. That's a different channel. Pat and I are doing a draft with Silas and Gormanji. If you guys watched the randomizer draft from a few weeks ago, Silas won the guest spot on that. He's now back doing a main event draft with us. That's tonight at 10 p.m. on Ship Chasing. And then, like I said, tomorrow at 10 a.m., I'll be back with Kerrane drafting another Best Ball Mania team. For Davis, I'm Pete. We'll see you then.